In the beautiful village of Amana, there lived a mighty king named King Essien. When King Essien was of a marriageable age, his parents arranged for a beautiful maiden named Koka for him as a wife, and he married her. No one knew, but before King Essien and Koka got married, they had been friends for a very long time, and King Essien loved her very much. Unfortunately, after several years of marriage, things did not go as Koka had planned. For some reason, Koka could not get pregnant no matter how hard she tried, and this really bothered her. Every time Koka's mother-in-law, the Queen Mother, visited Koka and King Essien, Koka would be very worried because she knew her mother-in-law would complain about her inability to bear children. "Koka, it has been 5 years since you married my son, and you haven't bore him a child. What is going on? You know he's a king and he's not supposed to be without an heir to his throne," the Queen Mother said to Koka one day. "My queen, I am trying everything possible to get pregnant. Please be patient. I am not happy that I haven't been able to bear the king a child, but please, just be patient with me," Koka begged the Queen Mother. "I have tried to be understanding, Koka, but I cannot wait any longer. If you do not get pregnant in the next 3 months, then the king will have to marry another bride. That's the best I can do," the Queen Mother said. When Koka heard that the Queen Mother had given her an ultimatum of 3 months to get pregnant, she was very heartbroken and desperate. Sadly, in the next 3 months, Koka could not conceive, so King Essien married another woman. Before King Essien married another woman, he explained to Koka that he was only marrying her so the burden of bearing children would be taken off Koka, and Koka believed him. A few weeks after King Essien married his new bride, Queen Uyai, she got pregnant. When Koka heard that her junior queen, Queen Uyai, was pregnant, she was very happy. Even though it reminded her of her inability to bear children, she was still thrilled and excited for the young queen. To show Queen Uyai that she was happy, Koka did her best to care for Queen Uyai and her unborn child. She didn't even let the maids cook for Queen Uyai anymore. Koka did the cooking herself, and she ensured that Queen Uyai always had enough rest. For almost 9 months, Koka did all she could to look after Queen Uyai, hoping that she would be considered a part of the family after the baby was born. But that didn't happen. After Queen Uyai gave birth to her daughter, her attitude towards Koka suddenly changed. She no longer allowed Koka to cook her food, and she didn't allow Koka to touch her baby. There was even a time when Queen Uyai woke up from a long sleep one afternoon to see Koka cuddling her baby, and she began to scream at her. "You barren witch! They have sent you to come and eat my baby, Abi!" Queen Uyai yelled at Koka. "I don't understand you. What are you talking about?" Koka asked in shock. But before Queen Uyai answered, she snatched her baby from Koka. "You think I don't know your tricks? You have been pretending to be nice, but I know your true colors. I don't ever want to see you close to my baby, or else, hey, you will not like what I'll do to you," Queen Uyai said before leaving. That day, after the incident happened, Koka locked herself in her room and cried her eyes out. She could not believe that the same woman she cared for could suddenly hate her like that. To avoid future problems, Koka stopped associating with Queen Uyai and stayed away from her baby too. Even when Queen Uyai got pregnant for the 2nd and 3rd time, Koka didn't go close to her. About 3 years after King Essien married Queen Uyai, something unexpected happened. King Essien's mother, the Queen Mother, showed up at the palace with a beautiful young maiden. "Mama, who is this?" King Essien asked when he saw the young, pretty maiden. "She's the new wife I brought for you," the Queen Mother said. "New wife? Did I tell you I needed a wife?" King Essien asked. "Yes, you do. Since none of the 2 women you married can bear you a son, then you need to marry a new wife." The Queen Mother said. Please, Mama, I have important things to attend to now. I don't have time for your jokes. King Essien said. Look here, Essien. I gave birth to you, so you must also have a son. If you do not have a son, what do you think will happen to your kingdom when you grow older? Who will take over when you die? The Queen Mother asked. Mama, I have heard you. But I believe that Queen Uyai or Queen Kokoma will bear me a son, so I do not need a new wife. King Essien said. Will you shut up? What do you know? I'm talking about people who can bear children, and you are talking about Kokoma. Look, my son, there is no more time to waste. I am very sure that the maiden I brought for you will bear you only male children. You can already tell by merely looking at her. The Queen Mother said. I have heard you, Mama. I will think about what you have said. King Essien said. There is nothing to think about. Just say yes, and she's yours. I already told her parents I was bringing her to you. Don't worry. She's from a very respected home, so you have nothing to worry about. The Queen Mother said. Okay, Mama. If marrying her will make you happy, then I will marry her, King Essien said. Hey, thank you, my son. Thank you for putting a smile on this old woman's face. Hey, just as you have listened to me, your son will listen to you too. The Queen Mother said. Later that evening, Kokoma was just strolling in the palace when she heard the maids gossiping about the king's new bride. She didn't even know that the Queen Mother had visited the palace earlier that day. Upon confirming from one of the palace guards that the gossip and rumors about King Essien marrying another wife were true, Kokoma confronted her husband. Is it true that you'll be marrying another bride? Kokoma asked King Essien. She entered his chambers in anger and didn't even greet him. Kokoma, I can explain, King Essien said. Explain what? That you're about to bring in a third wife when you promised me that Uyai was the last? Kokoma yelled. Kokoma, you know why I married Uyai. I thought she would bear me a male child, but she has not been able to do that, King Essien explained. So, if your third wife is unable to bear you a male child, your mother will marry another woman for you? Kokoma yelled. I'm sorry, Koko, but that's just the way it is. If only you could conceive and bear me a son, all of this would not be happening, King Essien said. So, are you saying this is all my fault? Is it my fault that I can't conceive? Essien, you have really wounded me. You have changed so much. You are no longer the man I married, Kokoma said with tears rolling down her cheeks. No, Koko, that's not how I meant it. I'm just saying that... There's no problem. Go ahead and marry as many wives as you want, Kokoma said before walking out of the king's chambers. When Kokoma said that King Essien had changed, she wasn't lying. From the day Queen Uyai gave birth to her first daughter, King Essien's attitude towards Kokoma changed. For example, he stopped spending time with Kokoma and began to spend more time with Queen Uyai. Also, he stopped showing Kokoma all the love and affection he used to and focused only on Queen Uyai and her children. But for years, Kokoma didn't say anything. She just watched as she and King Essien grew apart. That evening, after Kokoma confronted King Essien, she went to her chambers and cried her heart out. She had been hurt several times in the past, but she had never been so hurt as she was that evening. If only the gods had blessed me with a child when I prayed for one every day and night. Would Essien say I am the cause of everything that has happened? Kokoma soliloquized while crying. I have become a thing of mockery and ridicule in this palace. She added. There is no herbal medicine or concoction I have not taken. I have visited every midwife in this village, yet no one could give me a solution. Kokoma soliloquized. For the remainder of that evening, Kokoma did not leave her chambers. She stayed there crying until she finally slept off. When Kokoma woke up the following morning, she sent one of the maids to call her best friend. Kokoma did not go to visit her best friend by herself because she was afraid the villagers would see her and begin to gossip about her. This was the reason Kokoma remained in the palace all the time. My friend, you sent for me. I hope everything is fine, Kokoma's friend, Ekem, said as soon as she entered Kokoma's chambers. Ekem, everything is not fine. I am tired of being a laughing stock in my husband's house. Kokoma said in a teary voice. What is it? Did Queen Uyai challenge you again? I have told you several times to ignore that girl, Ekem said. If it were Queen Uyai that made me this sad, wouldn't it be better? Kokoma said. It's not Queen Uyai. Who is it then? What is wrong? Ekem asked. It's King Essien. His mother brought a third wife for him, and he has agreed to marry her. Kokoma said in a teary voice. Huh? Another wife? I thought he promised you that Queen Uyai would be the last, Ekem said. Can men be trusted? He knew he would marry another woman in the future, yet he lied to me. The most painful part is that he said it's my fault all these things are happening. Kokoma said. I don't understand. How is it your fault? Ekem asked. Your king said that if I had given birth to a son, then he wouldn't have to marry other women. Kokoma said, and then she burst into tears. Huh? He said that to you? Ekem asked in shock. Yes, he did. Tell me, Ekem, what have I not done to conceive? I have drunk everything, the good and the bad, hoping that it will fix my problem. But nothing has worked. Even the maids in this palace no longer respect me. I am tired of this kind of life. Kokoma said in a teary voice. My friend, it really breaks my heart to see you like this. As the first wife of the king, you are supposed to be respected, whether you have children or not, Ekem said. I didn't even tell you that the queen mother came to the palace yesterday without seeing me. You know what that means, Kokoma said. That's bad. But you should always remember that no one can take away your position as the king's first wife. Not even the queen mother, Ekem said. You don't understand, my friend. It would have been better for me to be a commoner than to be ridiculed like this, eh? If I were living a normal life in the village, would the whole village know whether I am barren or not? Kokoma said. I understand you. But I believe that one day, the gods will bless you with your own child, Ekem said. Please, leave the gods out of this. I am tired of waiting for them. I need a solution. I cannot die a barren woman. Very soon, I will no longer be able to bear children, and that scares me every day. Kokoma cried. My friend, please stop crying. Since you have tried things the physical way and it didn't work, let's try the spiritual way, Ekem said. What do you mean? Kokoma asked in a confused tone. We will go somewhere. I heard there is a place women like you can go to, and they will be blessed with children, Ekem whispered. Ah! A spirit child? Kokoma exclaimed. No, not a spirit child. She will help you conceive, Ekem said. Ekem, my friend, even if it's a spirit child, I don't mind. Let me just bear the child and give birth to it. I am very desperate at this point. Kokoma cried. I will use this week to gather all the information on how we can get to the priestess. And then I will come back to you so we can fix a date, Ekem said. Please, stop crying. I'm very sure that this woman will be the answer to all your prayers, Ekem added. Thank you, my friend. You have brought me peace of mind, Kokoma said. I have to leave now. I didn't cook before leaving the house, and I know the children are already hungry, Ekem said before leaving. Truly, Ekem had given Kokoma hope, because after Ekem left that morning, Kokoma stopped crying and looked forward to when Ekem would visit her again. 5 days after Ekem and Kokoma had that conversation, Ekem returned with good news. Hey, my friend, I got the information I needed. The priestess is authentic, and I have even met 2 women who got their babies through her, Ekem said. Really? Kokoma asked excitedly. Yes, she's the real deal. But the only problem is that she's at a distant village, and it might take days to get to her, Ekem said. I don't mind. Even if it takes me months to go to her, I will still go, Kokoma said. One more thing. You will have to go and visit her alone. I thought I could come with you, but I learned from the women that this is a personal journey, Ekem said. That's fine. I will go alone. In fact, I will leave first thing tomorrow morning. If it wasn't already late, I would have left today, Kokoma said. Okay, my friend. I wish you a safe journey. This is the list of things you need to buy on your way there. You must present these things first before you can see the priestess, Ekem said. The following morning, as soon as the cock crowed, Kokoma packed her bags and left the palace without telling King Essien. She only instructed her personal maid to tell King Essien that she had traveled to visit a friend of hers who had just given birth. Kokoma knew that if she told King Essien where she was going, he wouldn't let her go, so she left without his knowledge and lied to him. As Ekem had said, traveling to the distant village took days by foot. In fact, it took Kokoma 6 days to finally arrive at the small village where the priestess lived. When Kokoma arrived at the village, she noticed that the village was a bit different from the one she lived in. The people there were weird, and they stared at visitors like they were out of a museum. Luckily for Kokoma, she found a kind villager who directed her to the priestess's hut, and she met the priestess. You are here because you want a son. The spirits told me that you were on your way, the priestess said to Kokoma. Yes, you are right. I have been married for more than 9 years now, and I have never conceived. Please, help me. I am ready to do whatever you want me to do, Kokoma said. Are you sure? Because there will be no going back, the priestess said. Yes, I am sure. Even if it's one child, please, I do not mind, Kokoma said. There is no problem. You have come to the right place. No woman comes here and returns empty-handed, the priestess said. Thank you. I heard a lot about you, and that's why I traveled for many days to get here, Kokoma said. Go to the next hut. One of my daughters will instruct you on what to do. After you get all of the instructions, return to me, the priestess said. Without wasting time, Kokoma left the priestess's hut and went to the next hut. Inside the hut, she met a young girl with a white cloth tied around her waist. The girl did not wear a blouse and her entire upper body was exposed. "Sit!" the girl instructed Kokoma. Then she shook a small calabash that contained some cowries and poured them on a transparent white cloth on the floor. "You are lucky! The spirits have accepted your request. But before you return, there is something you must do," the girl said. "What is that?" Kokoma asked. "You must sleep by the river for 7 days and nights. While at that river, you must not eat or drink anything. The spirits will try to test you and bring you different foods and drinks, but you must not eat any of them. If you do, there will be consequences. Is that clear?" the girl asked. "Yes, I understand everything you have said. I am ready to start," Kokoma said. "That's good. You can go back to the priestess. She will tell you the other things," the girl said. When Kokoma returned to the priestess's hut, she thought the priestess would tell her to go to the river, but she learned something shocking. "You know that the child you are asking for is not of this world, and that is why the pregnancy will be different. Most children will come at 9 months or less, but your pregnancy will last longer," the priestess said. "Oh, I didn't know that. How long will the pregnancy last? 10 months? A year?" Kokoma asked. "All pregnancies are different, so I cannot tell how long your pregnancy will last. But be rest assured that you will deliver a healthy baby boy, and he will be the heir to his father's throne," the priestess said. "Oh, you didn't think the spirits would tell me that you are Queen Kokoma? The spirits see all things, including the things you try hard to conceal," the priestess said. "Thank you very much. I promise that if I give birth to a boy, I will return here with lots of gifts for you," Kokoma said. "We do not want your gifts. We only want you to follow instructions. Listen to me carefully. After you give birth to your son, you must bring back his placenta to this great shrine within 7 days, or else there will be dire consequences," the priestess said. "That is not a problem. I will do everything you have said," Kokoma answered. "You can go now. Someone will take you to the river, where you will remain there for 7 days and nights. Do not return until you have completed your days there," the priestess said. After Kokoma left the priestess's hut, a girl led her to the river where she was to sleep. Upon getting to the river, Kokoma could tell that it was a sacred place. She saw a big altar by the riverbank, and most of the trees were decorated with white and red clothes. "This is where you will sleep for 7 days and 7 nights," the girl said, pointing to a small shade. "Thank you," Kokoma said as she walked into the shade. One of the instructions Kokoma got from the priestess was to sleep naked by the river. So as soon as Kokoma entered the shade, she began to take off her clothes. On the very first day, Kokoma did not feel anything. She was not thirsty or hungry, and she managed to keep herself calm. But from the 3rd day, her body gradually became weak due to hunger. Knowing that Kokoma was now weak and very hungry, the spirits began to serve her food. That morning, Kokoma woke up to a delicious plate of soup and eba beside her mat, and immediately she saw it, she knew it was from the spirits. "No, I will not fall for this. I will pass my test and go home with my baby," Kokoma soliloquized, and she ignored the food. Later that evening, Kokoma woke up to another tray of catfish pepper soup and white rice, but she still managed to control herself. Unfortunately, on the 7th night, something sad and unexpected happened. because Kokomma had not eaten or drank anything for days. She lost her control and ate a mango. The worst part was that it wasn't the spirits that served Kokomma the mango fruit. She plucked it from one of the trees by the riverbank and ate it. The following day, Kokomma left the river area and returned to the priestess's hut. Congratulations on completing your ritual. I am confident that the spirits will bless you with a child soon, the priestess said. Thank you, great one. I am very happy, Kokomma said. That reminds me, Kokomma. You didn't eat anything while you were there, right? The priestess said. No, not at all. I followed the instructions you gave, Kokomma lied. All right, there is no problem. Go and meet your husband, and soon you will become pregnant, the priestess said. Thank you, priestess. When the baby is born, I will return with its placenta as you have instructed, Kokomma said before leaving. About a week after Kokomma left the priestess's village, she arrived at the palace. Where do you think you are coming from? King Essien yelled at her as soon as he saw Kokomma. My king, I told the maid to pass a message to you. I'm sorry I didn't tell you before leaving, Kokomma said. Queen Kokomma, how dare you leave the palace for more than a week without informing me, your husband? What kind of model are you to the younger queens? King Essien yelled. I'm sorry, my husband. After we had that fight, I just needed to go somewhere and clear my head. I felt like I was suffocating in the palace, so I left, Kokomma explained. You should have told me. Are you trying to say that I am a bad husband and I wouldn't let you travel to see your friend? King Essien said. No, my king. That is not what I meant. I am very sorry. Please, let me make it up to you. I know you missed me, and I missed you very much, Kokomma said. Kokomma knew that if she spoke softly to her husband and offered to cook him his favorite food, he would calm down. As expected, her offer worked, and King Essien was no longer mad at her. After cooking King Essien's favorite food and eating with him, they made love that night, which was precisely what Kokomma wanted. About 3 weeks after Kokomma made love with the king, she fell very ill, and when the traditional healer came to check on her, she found out that she was pregnant. The day Kokomma heard from the traditional healer that she was pregnant, she burst into uncontrollable tears. When the maids in the palace saw that Kokomma was crying, they thought something terrible had happened and called King Essien immediately. Kokomma, what is it? Why are you crying? King Essien asked, but Kokomma did not answer. What is wrong? What did you tell her? King Essien turned to the traditional healer. My king, your wife is in the best place to break the news to you, the traditional healer said. Then he excused himself. Koko, you are making me scared. Talk to me. What is the problem? King Essien asked again. I'm pregnant. Kokomma stuttered. You are pregnant? King Essien asked in shock. Did you just say that you are pregnant? He added. Yes, the gods have finally visited me, Kokomma said. When King Essien confirmed that Kokomma was truly pregnant, he was so happy that he threw a small party for his wife. That same day, Kokomma's mother-in-law, the Queen Mother, visited Kokomma and showered her with love. Hey, I had always known that one day you would bear my son a child. And I'm glad that day has come. If the child you are pregnant with is a boy, then he will be the heir to the throne. It will not matter if the king's second or third wife gives birth to a boy. The Queen Mother said, "Thank you, Mama. The gods know best. If they want me to give birth to the heir of the kingdom, then they will bless me with a male child." Kokoma said, "Well done, my daughter. I will tell your husband to assign you more maids so you do not stress yourself out." The Queen Mother said, "Also, I do not trust your co-wives. From now on, I will personally cook your food." The Queen Mother added, "No, Queen Mother, you do not have to do that. I trust my maids and they will take good care of me." Kokoma said, "All right, be careful. I will come from time to time to visit you." The Queen Mother said before leaving Kokoma's chambers. 9 months after Kokoma discovered that she was pregnant, King Essien, his mother and the villagers expected that Kokoma would give birth, but unfortunately, she didn't. When this happened, no one was really worried because they had witnessed many instances where a woman carried a child for more than 9 months. But when a year passed and there was no sign Kokoma would give birth soon, they became worried. "Kokoma, what is going on? You have been pregnant for 15 months and the villagers are talking. No woman in this village has ever been pregnant for more than a year." The Queen Mother said in a concerned voice, "Mama, I don't understand too. But I am sure the gods will make me deliver my baby safely." Kokoma said, "Have you met any of the midwives? What did they say?" The Queen Mother asked. "Yes, I have. The palace midwife was here yesterday and she examined me. She said everything is fine and that I will know when the baby is ready to come." Kokoma said, This is strange. Just be strong, eh? Very soon, all this will be history," the Queen Mother said. Even though Kokoma knew that her pregnancy would go beyond 9 months, she did not imagine it would take that long, and this made her very worried. One day, Kokoma called her friend, Ikem, to ask for her advice when she couldn't take it anymore. "Ikem, I do not know what to do again. The questions are becoming too much and I can no longer answer them," Kokoma said. How long did the priestess say the pregnancy would last? I didn't expect it to take this long," Ikem said. "Me too. Do you think I should go back and visit the priestess? I don't know what else to do," Kokoma said. I don't think that's a wise decision, especially with your condition. You should only go back to her after you have given birth, as she instructed. Maybe your pregnancy is a special kind. Let's just wait for a few more months. You never can tell what will happen," Ikem said. "Okay, I will wait," Kokoma said. Unfortunately, Kokoma did not give birth in the second year of her pregnancy as she had anticipated. She ended up carrying the pregnancy for 3 years. The day Kokoma gave birth to her son, she was strolling around the palace as usual when she felt a sharp pain in her lower abdomen and she began to scream. Luckily, her maids were with her and they got her the help she needed. Later that day, Kokoma gave birth to a bouncy baby boy. The baby was so healthy and big that even the midwives could not believe Kokoma had been carrying such a big baby in her stomach. When Kokoma gave birth, King Essien threw a big party in the palace and he invited everyone to join the celebration. While the king and everyone else were celebrating the birth of Kokoma's son, Kokoma was very worried. From the first day her baby was born, he had not cried once, and a lot of things were weird about him. For example, his body was always very cold and he always looked very pale. Also, each time someone held him, the person would complain about his body temperature. The worst part was that her baby had very scaly skin that resembled the skin of a fish and was very soft. "Kokoma, I have told you not to worry. Your son is still very young. All of these things will fade off as he grows older," Ikem said to Kokoma. "But this was not what I expected. I just wanted a healthy baby like everyone else. I can't even hold him because he's always very cold and it feels like his entire body is soaked in water. Kokoma said in a teary voice. Coco, you have waited for this baby for so long. Why don't you enjoy him and celebrate with other people? Eh? There is nothing wrong with your baby. Ekem said. I will try. I have heard you, Kokoma said. In the weeks that followed, Kokoma prayed and hoped every day that her baby's scaly skin would fade and his body temperature would become normal. Unfortunately, that never happened. When a year passed and no one had ever heard Kokoma's baby cry or even seen him crawl, people began to spread rumors. Even in the palace, some maids started to spread rumors that Kokoma's baby was an imbecile. Aside from the scaly skin, cold temperature, soft body and some other things, Kokoma's baby also had body movements that no one understood. Whenever someone carried him, he would struggle to set himself free in a weird way, and as a result, the palace maids believed he was an imbecile. While all of these happened, Kokoma became very defensive and she would abuse whoever tried to insult her baby. In fact, because of her troubles, Kokoma had forgotten to take the baby's placenta back to the priestess as she had promised. Slowly, 1 year passed and there was still no improvement with Kokoma's baby. At age 2, the baby still remained in bed. He could not sit without support, he could not crawl or even walk, and he barely cried. When 2 years passed and nothing had changed, Kokoma was forced to take her baby back to the priestess because she could no longer bear to see her child suffer. After a long week of traveling, Kokoma arrived at the priestess's village and went to her shrine. My priestess, please help me. I don't know what to do again. Kokoma cried and begged the priestess. Where is your son? And why are you carrying a fish? The priestess asked, even though Kokoma was carrying her son in her arms. I don't understand you. This is my son. I am not carrying a fish, Kokoma said as she stretched her baby to the priestess. No. What you are carrying in your arms is a fish. Don't tell me this is what you have been nursing as a child all these years, the priestess said in a concerned voice. I've only had him for 2 years, Kokoma said. 2 years? It's been more than 5 years since you visited here. What happened? The priestess asked. I carried the pregnancy for 3 years and gave birth to him 2 years ago, Kokoma answered. What? How? No one is supposed to carry a spirit child for more than 1 year. What did you do? The priestess asked. I didn't do anything. I followed your instructions, Kokoma said. No, something is not right. When you slept by the river, did you eat anything? Tell me the truth, the priestess growled. Yes, I did. But I swear, it was only 1 mango and I ate it on the 7th night, Kokoma said. You did what? Why didn't you tell me that when you returned? I asked you and you lied to me. You do not know the implications of what you did, the priestess yelled. I'm sorry, Kokoma cried. I was afraid you would tell me to fast again, Kokoma said. You brought this on yourself. The tree you ate from was not a mere tree. By eating that mango, you took a spirit home with you. That is why it took you 3 years to give birth, the priestess said. So, what do I do now? How do I help my son? Please, Kokoma cried. I'm sorry, but there is no son. But you will have to return the fish you are holding to its rightful home. or you will not like the consequences, the priestess said. So, what do I do now? How can I return the fish to its home? Kokoma asked. The same way you got it, the priestess said. You will have to sleep by the river again for 7 days and nights. As for the child you think you carry, we will perform a ritual for the spirit to return to its home, the priestess added. In the days that followed, Kokoma was forced to sleep by the river for 7 days and 7 nights, and she was separated from her baby. The priestess had prepared a special calabash for Kokoma's baby. The calabash was decorated with white cloth and contained 5 white eyes and some kola nuts. The baby was then placed in the calabash and placed in the river. For 6 days and nights, Kokoma watched as her baby remained in the river without food and water, and she worried greatly for him. But on the 7th night, something shocking and heart-wrenching happened. That night, Kokoma witnessed as her baby transformed into a big white fish, and it swallowed all the 5 eggs and kola nuts, then jumped into the river, but didn't return. When the fish jumped into the water, Kokoma expected that her baby would appear in the calabash, but when that didn't happen, she was very heartbroken. What about my baby? What will I tell my husband and mother-in-law? Kokoma cried. You never had a baby, Kokoma. You disobeyed my instructions, and the spirits decided to teach you a lesson, the priestess said. But you told me I would have a son. What did eating 1 mango have to do with it? Please help me. People will accuse me of killing my child, and I cannot live with that. Kokoma begged. There is nothing I can do. You brought this on yourself. You will have to find a way to sort it out, the priestess said. Please, don't let me go empty-handed. The villagers will mock me, and my husband will question me. I left the palace with a child. Will I now return empty-handed? Kokoma cried. Kokoma, if you really want to conceive again, then you can return in 5 years. By then, the spirits might have forgiven you for taking one of their own away for 5 years. If you can't wait, then there is nothing I can do for you, the priestess said. When Kokoma heard that, she cried bitterly and returned to her village, hoping to explain everything to the king and the queen mother. Why? Oh, why? Unfortunately, when King Essien heard that Kokoma had sought fetish means to bear a child, he dissolved their marriage and banished her from the palace. But because Kokoma could not stand being banished, she took her own life to end her misery and shame, and she never became a mother. The end. Did you enjoy this story? Let us know your favorite parts in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to follow our channel on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.